Well, medical imaging software provider IMEXHS has reported a 15% increase in full-year revenue. The company also recently raising $1.5 million via a placement. Let's get more details from the company's CEO, ARANGO, who joins me live now in studio. Good to have you, Haman. You're out here, of course, from Colombia. Welcome. Tell us what you plan to do with the proceeds and just a little bit more about the capital raising.
Okay, thank you very much, Juliet, for the invitation, and it's a pleasure to be here. Essentially, well, we're coming after a year which was a turning point for the company, in which we have been able to move the direction of the company into a profitability pathway, delivering for first time in the history positive EBITDA and positive cash flow. On top of that, we have been able to deliver growth, 15% growth as you mentioned, 25% growth for our ARR, and also with an accelerated growth in the second half of the year, 42% growth on PCP. So the main usage of the proceeds is essentially to have a reserve for our working capital, given 95% of our revenues are recurrent. Mm-hmm. So in the way our company is growing in recurrent revenues is requiring more and more working capital, and this is just to be in safe land and secure.
All right, nice to have a little bit of cash on the sidelines, so to speak. So you've got two main businesses. Just talk us through the imaging solutions part and some of the growth that you mentioned there, how you're seeing that.
Sure. Well, we essentially develop software for medical imaging, software that we sell across 18 countries currently. Is software to support the workflow of a medical imaging facility from end to end. The core of this is the storage of the images, visualization, reporting process, and our go-to-market strategy is essentially a low-cost, low-risk go-to-market strategy supported by 25 distributor partners across the 18 geographies I mentioned. We are now developing a new value proposition. This new value proposition is about to be released during the year, before the end of the current year, and is addressing the high end of the market. We have been historically successful in the SME segment, mm-hmm. and now we are trying to put more competitiveness for the high end of the market, and this new value proposition will bring with the new product, three key elements, which are the best support, post-sale support of the industry, as we have called it, enhanced security and stability, reliability, and the third one is automation tools driven by AI for improving performance, productivity, accuracy, and quality of the radiologist's work, and in general, for any medical specialist handling images.
So you're based in 18 countries. We mentioned that you yourself are based in Colombia. You're out in Australia at the moment. But amongst these 18 countries include Colombia, Australia, and the US. What are you seeing in terms of the different markets, and how does Australia compare?
Well, definitely we are mainly we are delivering deals across the Latin American region, and there are some differences compared to, let's say, developed countries like US and Australia. The type of technologies and competitors are similar, so we have to compete against the same big brands across the world. But the Latin American region is a more fragmented market. There is less concentration. It has not gone through this consolidation process that is happening in the healthcare industry in the developed countries. So there are more small to mid-size sites compared to big multi-site, highly concentrated companies in Australia and in US. The requirements in terms of technology, functionalities, workflows are almost identical, but the main difference is how fragmented is in the Latin American region with several small to mid-size sites, compared to a highly concentrated market in US and Australia.
I was reading an interesting article that said a lot of people confuse you sometimes with your company name IMEXHS with IMAX, the cinemas, and there is a little bit of, I guess, similarity in that the imaging in movie cinemas is similar to the imaging you're seeing in medical devices. What is your path or plan for future growth? Where would you like to see the business in the next, say, 5 years?
Yeah, well, definitely we are. Well, they also confuse us with
IMEXHS.
So, but it helps for the branding and for the marketing. But our plan for the future is to keep the attraction, relying or based on the fundamentals we have put in place across the Latin American region and now in more developed markets to accelerate the growth for the software business. Supported in this, what we have called the new value proposition, which is a package of product and processes and offerings to our customers for make our solution the most secure, as I said, more reliable, with the best service and plenty of functionalities enhancing productivity and performance. We think that as accelerated growth will allow us soon to expand with more strengths across the region where we are very strong now, to gain a significant footprint and market share, but also to expand globally in the future, not the current year. The current year is to stay focused in the Latin American region, but in future years we are considering to do a more global expansion for the product. The scalability of this business allows us to think easily in a global market with no restrictions. And given we are supported in recurring revenues, multi-year contracts, we think that the acceleration of the growth in terms of revenues and profits is something that we can achieve efficiently.
All right, I do need to ask you just quickly about your share price. I know you can't control the market, but others have said you could be like a mini Pro Medicus, which is trading at $96.35 compared to where your shares are at 50 Aussie cents. Where would you like to see the direction? I know it's going to be up, but how would you like to achieve that growth?
No, definitely. We are in a earlier stage, let's say, but we think that we can take that direction, and definitely it's a pathway what the Promedicus has done that we would like to take in the future. But for the moment, we are more concentrated in the fundamentals for the company, and those fundamentals definitely will take us into a much higher share price in the near future.